In any competitive venture, there are 3 laws. The forces outside the game have just as much impact as the ones in. He who controls momentum controls the outcome, and when it's anyone's game, the better player always comes out on top. However, one of these laws is about to be broken. It's 2014, at Skatar 3, a major tournament for competitive Super Smash Bros. Melee, with nearly all the top players in attendance. It's the third last match of the tournament, with the loser being eliminated at 4th place. Mewtwo is versing his rival, the 2-time #1 player in the world, Armada. In a best-of-3 match, Mewtwo would barely manage to escape with a win in Game 2, sending the match to a must-win Game 3. For the past 4 years, Mewtwo has been unable to beat Armada, experimenting with different characters such as Mythra and Sheik. There were some close calls, but the game would always find itself in the favor of Armada. But today, Mewtwo has tried a new character, Fox, and this new choice has opened up yet another opportunity for Mewtwo to get his first win on the European King of Smash. In comparison to Mythra and Sheik, Mewtwo Fox is noticeably quicker and has more potent combos against Peach. However, that doesn't necessarily put Armada at a big disadvantage, as Armada has years of experience versus Fox, knowing how to interrupt his combo sequences and take advantage of his recovery moves in order to secure stocks.
Nice! And we're going to the last stock. M2K, look at him right now. All right, here we go. Can M2K break the curse? Can he break the curse? It's not finished yet. We aren't evened up.
Armada gets the grab. It's his chance. The Turnip. There's the Nair. High again. Oh, man. Oh. And Mewtwo
finally done
it. He's hyped.
He has finally done it.
After an incredible comeback, Mewtwo would manage to beat Armada for the first time, but the rivalry between these two gifted players was only getting started. This match was intense, but as time would go on, their matches would be played on bigger stages with even bigger stakes, culminating in a match whose unexpected ending would serve as the end of an era. Mewtwo was widely known as the best Smash Bros. Melee player from 2007 to 2008, and at the same time, he was the #1 ranked Super Smash Bros. Brawl player. In addition, he would come to mentor many of the very best Smash Bros. Players throughout the next decade. His prowess throughout the years has caused many to call him the greatest Smash Bros. Player of all time. But despite that, Armada proved to be a standard he couldn't reach, as after this set...
Oh my god, and that's it! Mewtwo with the fish handshake! The tournament is over! Armada is the winner! Stands up!
No, in the most tragic manner imaginable! And he's not bad!
Despite trying a multitude of different characters, Mewtwo would be unable to beat Armada for the next 2 years. Whereas Mewtwo was the most proficient player across the series, Armada played primarily Melee, and his focus on the game led him to have an extensive period of dominance over the scene and one of his rivals. In the period between the first 2 times he lost to Mewtwo, he would win 29 tournaments, including all of the biggest series, and most importantly, he would secure the rank of #1 in the world once again. And Mewtwo win against him at Smash Summit 2 didn't put an end to his dominance, as after that tournament, another streak would continue. In the fighting game community, there's an idiom to describe what Armada was for Mewtwo, being a bracket demon. Someone who you can't beat in competition despite your best efforts. The wording itself presents a rather extreme image, proposing that someone you have a mental block against in a video game could be a personal demon. But maybe that just speaks to how heavily the mental aspect plays into any competitive venture.
I know how good he is. I do know his flaws, but he has so many strengths that he can use to his advantage. But just because he's so stubborn on all the negative things, it's like you can never ever break through.
Mew2King was one of the most dominant players when it came to the majority of the scene, and his journey to conquering his bracket demon perhaps relied on the notion that he could, just maybe, extend that dominance to the golden standard. 7 sets since he had last beaten Armada, Mew2King met him in the grand finals of UGC Smash, and so far in this tournament, he had already beaten Mango, Leffen, and Hungrybox. Mew2King had the skill on any given day to be the best player in the world, as long as the stars aligned, and if there was any day that they seemed like they were aligning, it was today. Throughout his years of losing to Armada, Mew2King finally reasoned that his best choice against the Swede was to play Marth. The game plan would be much different, as Marth has to take advantage of his range over Peach, but also avoid allowing Peach's win condition, her turnips. Peach also has to change up her game plan, as edgeguarding is not as straightforward as it was against Fox, as Marth has more tools to mix up his timing and spacing. Altogether, in terms of the neutral game and edgeguards, the matchup would be a battle of creativity. After losing Game 1, Mew2King would demonstrate his will not to crumble under the momentum, as he would manage to bring Game 2 to a close conclusion.
So just like that though. Just like that. 60%. So this says that from what we've seen, this is fine. Because Mew2King's been able to be effective. He hasn't had any Marthritis. Looking like a young
It was clear after this game that Mew2King was in for the long haul. On the verge of resetting the bracket to a final set, Mew2King would have to prove that being on the verge of winning wouldn't shake him. Although Mew2King had won once, he would need to win another set to take the tournament over everyone, but he had already proven that he was capable of beating anyone in the world today. So this tournament was in anyone's hands. In Game 1 of the second set, Armada would start to pull a few more tricks out of his back pocket and convincingly win. With momentum turning back in his favor, the burden was on Mew2King to not let it happen. He would choose to go to his comfort stage, Final Destination. A decade prior, and to most of the community currently, Mew2King was unbeatable on this stage, so cashing in a win on this stage would keep his hopes of winning the tournament alive.
But it makes me sad that regardless of how many things he has in his favor, he has to be obsessed about the one thing that might be not good right now.
Oh! Just like that, reversal.
Oh, wow.
He went it all. He put it all black.
All black.
Oh, Armada kind of fishing right
I know,
now.
my boy trying to reel him in.
Oh, he's...
Oh!
A tie game?
Oh! Oh, no!
This game would prove to shut the door on Mew2King's prospective Miracle Tournament run, as although he didn't go down without a fight, this game not going his way would create a mental barrier too high to surpass. Mew2King was making progress in his rivalry against Armada, but the most important rule to conquering one's bracket demon still eluded him. To him, Armada seemed to represent the cool and collected best player in the world, someone who could hold it together when the pressure got high and maintain his status as superior, while he was someone that always had the skill to be the best player on a given day, but unless the stars aligned, in that moment when the game could go either way, his doubt would resign him to being just shy of the top. Even though he may have perceived Armada to be better than him, that wasn't a demotivating factor for him, as that impossible climb to win a tournament over Armada proved to be too enticing to give up on. Mew2King would win his 4th set against Armada 8 years after they first met. Although it was a good win, it wasn't one of the Big 5 most prestigious tournament series. Mew2King historically performed below people's expectations at these tournaments, sometimes making it far into the bracket, but rarely taking the win, especially if Armada was there. However, the 6th iteration of the Smash Summit Invitational Tournament would be held soon in the future. Armada had been dominant in this series historically, bringing home 4 wins and 1 second place. When it came to the day itself, that dominance seemed to be continuing, as coming out of pools, Armada would place into the winner's side of the bracket, and unfortunately for Mew2King, they would be seeded to play against each other in the first round of the final bracket.
Oh, I can't believe Armada rolled there.
I can't believe that he let me change it away. They both rolled? That was a technical mistake.
It was like,
Oh, the
wow,
Phantom!
fantasy.
Oh, that's a smart beat. He was gonna get slapped. Ninja King's playing so sick. He's really doing well. Oh, and the tipper!
Have to beat me.
Right.
I don't have to beat you.
Ball's in my court.
You have to beat me.
Yeah.
Oh my god, 50%!
Oh,
Okay.
big 4 there.
This 55 is scary. Armada's freaking out. This float matters so much. Oh, and the platform messed him up.
Up, 4th throw.
Yeah.
Oh, big jab.
He was looking.
Down tilt, 4th
That's
set.
it. That's 3-1. Mew2King outcame.
Despite there being numerous opportunities for him to get nervous and crumble, Mew2King managed to keep it together, and in the following matches, the beginnings of a miracle run seemed to finally be coming to fruition. He would take a dominant set win over Leffen to make it to winners finals, and then take another 3-1 set win over the up-and-coming player Zain. At one of the most prestigious tournaments, for the first time in years, Mew2King found himself on the winner's side of grand finals. Depending on who came from the loser's side, Mew2King would potentially be favored to win. However, his path to win wouldn't be so favorable. If Armada would lose his next match, he would place 9th in the tournament. But for the past 11 years, Armada had him placed lower than 5th at a tournament, so those who knew his legacy knew what was coming. Armada would return to a familiar place, Grand Finals of Smash Summit. He had proven in the past that he performs near his peak at this event, being able to win it no matter which side he came from. Unlike Armada, Mew2King had everything to prove at this tournament. However, perhaps because of the more calm environment, Mew2King didn't seem to realize the weight of the moment. One more unlikely set win over Armada, and he would win his first ever Smash Summit. The match would start off calm, with Armada trying to space out Mew2King by pulling turnips, and Mew2King trying to wait for his moment to strike. And when he would, it would hit. After being up 2 stocks to 1, set to have the momentum, if I somehow manage to lose this, that's it. It's over. However, despite numerous opportunities to give up the advantage, he would stay disciplined. Armada would counterpick to Dreamland, Marth's worst stage, and in this matchup, arguably Mewtwo-King's worst. Mewtwo-King would be determined to fight against conventional history in this game, but another force seemed like it was starting to take Armada's side. Armada got the 1.7% chance of a Stitch-faced Turnip, which had the power to end stocks rather early. Armada would show that he wasn't a player that relied on luck. When you're a 4-time ranked #1 player in the world, you rely on skill. The set was now essentially a best of 3, and Mewtwo-King aimed to flip the script from the last game by going for home field advantage. On this stage against Fox, Marth can chain grab him and combo him to over 100%, if not death. But against Peach, without a chain grab, the plan wasn't nearly as straightforward. However, that doesn't mean the combos were any less deadly. For the first time in 5 years, Mewtwo-King was 1 game away from winning one of the Big 5 tournaments. If there was any time to start getting nervous, it was right now. But he just cleaned his controller, readjusted his seat, and pressed start. He would be greeted by Armada's secret weapon. Throughout their whole career, Armada had opted to play Peach against Mewtwo-King, but when it was do or die, he would pull out his Fox for the first time. Armada had won some of the biggest tournaments in the world with his Fox, so this last-ditch effort move from Armada was not to be underestimated. What Armada didn't take into consideration, however, was that Mewtwo-King made a career off of beating Foxes, and this match would be no exception.
You gotta pull out all the stops right now to get back.
Wow.
Let's see if you can keep it together.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I'm also for the jab. Oh wow. Jab, back here.
Okay.
Okay. Still keep it together, Jason.
Still got a chance.
Yeah, Jason has to keep it together. Yeah. You can't be complacent with 1 stock.
Oh no. Okay. No, you really can't.
Yeah.
It's a good opening.
Oh.
All right.
Okay. All right, got some decent damage.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Oh, is that it? That is it. That is it. Mewtwo-King wins Smash Tournament. Look at it. Look at it.
He actually can't believe it.
He can't believe it. He said I won. Mewtwo-King. Oh, he doesn't even believe it.
It's better than the no pop.
Yeah.
This is what we're supposed to pop up. Mewtwo-King.
The key to Mewtwo-King's victory was perhaps his environment. There was no crowd for him to hear their loud reactions. There was no weight in the air. In that room, it was just him and Armada. After winning the most prestigious invitational tournament of the year, the rational next step was to ask if he could continue this momentum. Proving he could win a tournament over Armada opened the door for even bigger questions. Could Mewtwo-King be ranked above Armada for the first time ever? And maybe, could he win one of the Big 5 tournaments in front of a crowd? At EVO, he would come short, being eliminated at the hands of his rival. But just the following weekend would be his next opportunity, Super Smashcon 2018. After fighting through various opponents and 3-0ing Hungrybox, Mewtwo-King would make it to Grand Finals of Super Smashcon. He had been here twice before, and had fallen short both times. A win here would symbolize the growth that he had made this whole time, and the fact that he would have to be over Armada made this moment that much more culminating. The two rivals started the match, and neither could quite predict how historic this match would come to be.
Lose a game the whole time.
Yeah, he didn't lose the game.
Damn.
Oh, you're just keeping them in the air. Very nice. I like that setup. Yeah.
After seeing this game, everyone in the convention center had a similar thought, that this was the same Mewtwo that won the summit, and Mewtwo would give the crowd more to cheer for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see it until. Oh, yeah.
Damn, he's getting so
But
many timbers.
Armada would as well.
Making it. Oh, God, that's a slap.
Can you do it up? Can you throw him up?
Oh, he didn't do it yet.
He knows that. He knows.
Next one will do it. If he gets another ground
Yeah.
zone.
DJ, next one does it?
Next one.
In these types of scenarios, most players would react, show their frustration with the close loss, and let the momentum snowball. But Armada would stay stone cold, highlighting his mental fortitude that was second to none.
Way more down smashes now.
Armada would make the deliberate choice to taunt Mewtwo after getting a kill with the Stitch-faced Turnip. A deficit, partially ushered on by luck, was sure to get to his head, and unfortunately for the hundreds in the crowd, that seemed to be the case. For Game 4, Mewtwo would try to use the power of his favorite stage to swing the momentum back into his favor, but Armada's creativity wouldn't make it so easy. This game would be a war of Mewtwo trying to break through Armada's wall of turnips to land his combos, but Armada would pull more tricks out of his sleeve. Mewtwo would have counterpick advantage once again in Game 5, and would take the gamble of going back to the stage he just lost on in order to get the bracket reset. If Armada wins this game, he wins his first Super Smashcon. If Mewtwo wins, he brings their match to a second set, winner takes all. Their mind games would continue, but with the stakes higher than ever.
Come on.
Must be nice.
That's still a lot of damage, though.
Must be nice.
Okay.
Oh, but
the
Mewtwo there
grab
in total
and-
control.
Oh,
And he gets him! Mewtwo with the reset!
We have a reset, ladies and gentlemen.
Mewtwo would show that in this set, he wasn't the same player that he was 5 years prior. He wasn't visibly nervous or too emotionally swayed by the crowd. In this moment, he was on the same level as Armada, both within the game and out. Although Mewtwo seemed to not be paying much attention to them, the crowd was electric. The excitement many viewers felt watching his summit run at home was now being expressed in person.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it that this is easily the best SmashCon finals ever.
Watching right now.
All right,
This level of
Jason.
melee is too much.
Alright.
Get slapped, though.
Jesus.
Ooh, good thing he didn't hit the ground. Oh, but he's still caught.
Number 3.
Oh my.
Yeah. Let's see. It's only game 1 though.
Halfway through Game 2, Armada was once again proving that Final Destination wasn't a free win against him. If he could take this lead into a win, he would have a 2-0 lead over Mewtwo in the set, making the match near impossible to win. If there was any time to show what he was made of, it was right now.
Well, I love that. Just getting the stage position in.
He meant to move that forward.
Oh, yeah.
He meant to move that forward. So possible. Is he dead?
All right, this is a real big game.
Dodges the turnip. Make
MTK still living.
Wait,
He keeps him in the air.
Jump.
Not yet, though. He needs one more solid hit.
Oh, what's he
Okay,
gonna
he
do?
gets the grab. What's he gonna do? Forward throw. Stage positioning now. Edge guard opportunity.
He
He
goes the wrong way,
I've never seen
but he's
that.
still
What?
good. Okay.
Oh,
Wait,
The
oh
down
my.
smash didn't hit.
M2K.
Oh,
he read it.
No!
Oh, with the up B. And
Wow.
M2K kills that game.
What an OP!
For the first time this set, the crowd's energy extended to Mewtwo. If he had a chance to win a major tournament in front of a crowd, he was going to make sure to enjoy it. But the energy's impact on his play wasn't clear, as in the next game, perhaps by being too ambitious, he would lose.
Messed up a little bit.
Looking like that so far at all.
Armada's just being Armada.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Okay, yeah. MTK trying to smash the IN, but that's the stock.
Yeah, quick first stock for Armada.
Real patient, just keeping him
Oh,
in the air.
Oh my. Oh, do it again.
Yeah.
One more time.
Break the shield, yes!
He grabbed the startup of down smash.
Oh, relax.
Be careful.
Yes, and immediate back here. Okay, MTK is in the lead. Oh my God.
Force the game 5 right now. He needs to make it happen.
Once again, if Mewtwo would lose the next stock, he would fall just short.
He takes it. He goes to game 5.
The sign of any all-time game is that uncertainty in everyone's mind of who's going to win. And when the set reached game 10, no one knew what was going to happen. That chaos just added to the hype. To take a game that was already crazy, throw in those interactions that no one has ever seen before, everyone was just on the edge of their seats. With everything on the line and hundreds of people behind them, I couldn't possibly imagine how either of them were feeling.
Mewtwo hands coming out from the crowd. They want to see it.
Okay, let's see what he does.
Alright.
Okay, gets the tech chase.
Oh,
No, forward smash, but that DI though.
Armada definitely caught M2K off guard right there.
Ooh, wow, the
take
rock
two, take
grab.
Man, wait a minute. Is he going for the forward smash?
The pew pew.
No, yeah, he's done it too many times.
One more stock for
Last stock for
M2K.
Mewtwo.
He read that?
Oh yeah, he read the air dodge.
Oh my God.
Now Armada.
Wait a minute.
Hit it back.
Wait a minute. No.
Oh. What a way to end.
After 10 years of playing against Armada, in that moment, the most important set of their careers, in Grand Finals, Game 10, that same slight lack of belief would show. The pressure of the crowd was just too much, but at least Mewtwo could be comforted by the prospect that someday he would get another shot, on a stage at least partially as grand.
I know that the message in this video is not what people want to hear, but it's about time. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find the goals. I can't find the happiness. And then I think it's about time to, not play singles any longer.
Armada's retirement signified a sudden absence of perhaps Mewtwo greatest motivation in still playing Smash. Armada leaving the game meant that Mewtwo impossible climb to the top no longer existed, and his desire to continue competing at the top level started to lose its meaning. 3 months later, Mewtwo would be invited to Smash Summit 7. If there was any tournament that could revitalize him, it was likely this one.
Yeah, I know.
Mewtwo would go out at a disappointing 9th place. And 3 months later, with the support of the community, he would go to Genesis 6 and place 33rd. After this placement, Mewtwo would enter an indefinite hiatus from Smash Bros. Melee. He would enter a couple Smash Ultimate tournaments in the meantime, but he wouldn't get any meaningful results.
In the second set I lost to Armada, I was thinking the whole second set that I don't deserve this and this isn't supposed to happen because this never happens. I just thought of all these sad doomer thoughts and it affected my gameplay, thinking all these thoughts like the entire second set.
To many, it seemed as if Mewtwo was entering a new stage of his career, a slow fade into retirement. But others still had the hope that this wouldn't be the case. In 2013, after a 2-year decline in tournament results and a dry streak against top players, Mewtwo would come to compete at the Big House 3, and he would win his first ever Big 5 tournament. His comeback from declining results to the top of Smash was adequately named the Return of the King. 8 months since last competing in Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mewtwo would announce that he was entering the Big House 9. A couple weeks prior to the tournament, Mewtwo said he had barely practiced the game throughout the past year, but in the weeks leading up to the event, he would dedicate himself to going out there once again for his fans. Going into the event, Mewtwo was seeded 9th. To be fair, with his shaky results in the prior year and his hiatus from the game, no one quite knew if his seeding was too high or too low. Throughout the initial rounds of the tournament, everything was going as projected. The number 1 seed, Hungrybox, was making his way through the bracket without dropping a game. But the first major shakeup of the tournament was about to happen. Mewtwo was seeded to play against the number 10 ranked player in the world at the time, IBDW, otherwise known as Cody Schwab. Cody had been on a gradual climb in Melee's rankings for the past couple years, having accumulated some decent wins. To the average spectator, Cody was the favorite, but to the hopeful, partially because of the familiar matchup, Mewtwo had a chance. After a self-destruct in Game 2, he would go down 2-0, and it seemed like those who doubted Mewtwo's return would be right. After winning the next 2 games, he would come down to Game 5. If he was able to demonstrate supreme mental resilience, he would get a shot at the new king.
This is the scariest situation against M2K.
He goes to the ledge. He goes to the ledge right away.
I got the lead. Yep. And Cody not having it, but the grab. Stage. And M2K goes right for the down air.
Mewtwo's unlikely victory over Cody meant that he would be up next against Hungrybox. 6 years ago, he had beat him to win his only ever Big House, but since then, Hungrybox had risen to a level of dominance similar to Armada's at this point. Hungrybox was on track to become the number 1 player in the world for the 3rd year in a row. In the post-Armada scene, Hungrybox was the clear champion. To any rational viewer, this match was heavily in favor of Hungrybox. Not because of the two's match history, which was in favor of HBox, but more so because of the recent period of dominance that HBox was having. Regardless, Mewtwo entered the match with a calm demeanor.
Different character pick. Uh-oh. Misses that though.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, didn't get punished.
When the crowd comes alive, he gets the first stock.
As Game 1 came to a close, Mewtwo was on his back foot, 1 solid hit away from death. But if he could hit one of his win conditions, he had the potential to take Game 1.
Good lasers.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, this is doable for M2K.
Good D on the back here.
Oh, no shorten.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that it?
Oh my goodness.
After taking Game 1, the crowd was already noticeably excited, reminiscent of Smashcon 2018 finals. People were excited to see Mewtwo back, and even more so with the chance to take out the most dominant force the scene had. However, Game 2 would start to bring people back to reality. Mewtwo would go down 4 stocks to 1, a deficit which was near impossible to come back from. But today, Mewtwo was full of surprises.
when he's down in stocks, stuff like that. And
typically he's working on his tech skill right now because he knows he got 4 stocks, so he's
that's
doing
really funny. He's just like, all right, let me just practice. Damn, 2K literally just gonna practice tech.
Instead of playing the game normally, Mew2King would start practicing his tech skill mid-match. Instead of letting the game get to his head, he didn't. One watching this match could tell just by looking at Mew2King that the desperate desire, that need to win, no longer existed in him. In fact, he came to this tournament simply because his fans supported his return. But without Armada being here, in a way, he was now free. Free from the limitations in his mind, brought by the immense pressure of potentially overcoming the golden standard. In no longer caring about the outcome, he was focused on enjoying himself and making the most of the moment. And with that, he became capable of so much more.
Yeah, this is the most important moment of this set right now.
It is okay. Oh, the back air. M2K is gonna grab ledge,
the
but the tournament winner, but he manages the fastball out.
Hungrybox was not the type of player to give up when he was down. In fact, when matches turned out of his favor, partially due to the volatility of his character, was when he became the strongest. That being said, he was now down 2 stocks to 1. There was a certain feeling in the crowd that everyone was charging a pop-off in the chance of the upset happening.
So, remember.
And we got the Mew2King chance coming out. Oh, the jab reset into the red.
Okay.
Oh, good tech. Dude, he's hitting all the tech.
But
not that one. H-Box missed him up.
What? Oh my god.
He had the platform press read.
It's like these players switch bodies.
Oh, and he gets the edge guard.
But he gets it and
In giving up the chance to take the match 3-1, Mew2King was now with his back against the wall. This game was win or lose. Historically, when these matches got close, especially against the best in the world, Mew2King wouldn't be favored. But today, months after losing a large reason for him to play the game, he was back with a chance to prove himself. Now, his opponent is arguably stronger than his rival of the past, but the chance of him winning is right before his eyes. The Mew2King of the past would let this all get to his head, and in that last moment, fall just short of the goal. But there was that chance that just maybe he could redeem himself and pull off the miracle upset. But the question in everyone's minds was this the same Mew2King of the past?
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, gets the drill. Spot dodges the grab. Okay. That grab could have been everything.
Almost up there.
Oh my god, he just narrowly avoids the neutral air. Here.
M2K is playing with fire right now.
Oh my god, is that it? M2K! Jason Zimmerman has beaten H-Box.
Has taken out the #1 player in the world. What is happening?
This is the comeback story that we all wanted to see.
Mew2King wouldn't go on to win this tournament. In fact, he would place 5th, losing to 2 other top players afterwards. However, maybe that's not the important thing. He didn't get some crazy storybook ending, but beating the #1 player in the world after months of hiatus perhaps meant something more, that even he didn't fully understand at the moment. Despite some of the regrets from his career, this match ultimately proved that he could be a closer, that even when people began to fully count him out, he had the skill and mental resilience to be the best player in the world. Years since Mew2King's last Melee tournament, people still look back at his illustrious career, his early period of dominance, and his legendary matches against the very best in the world. Still, years later, the thought occasionally enters people's minds that we're all just waiting for another return of the king.